So common logarithm, right? So what's the common logarithm all about? So basically what this is, what's missing here, right? What aren't we seeing when we look at this that we're used to seeing? What's missing? Right at the base, okay? So they aren't writing the base, and so why is that, right? So what it comes down to is just like so much in math. I remember it was in my high school teachers and my college teachers like talked about how their impression of mathematicians, I mean, as a math teacher, was that they're lazy, okay? And really what I meant by that was that they want to write as little as possible. And so, hundreds of years ago when all this stuff was come up with, like, that, when we say x, like they're saying, like, can we stop writing one x and let's just write x, like, right? Or if we want to say x to the first, like, can we stop writing x to the first all the time and just write x? Like, can we just all agree that when we say x, we mean x to the first, or when we say x, we mean x over 1, like, or can we stop writing the 2 in front of the square root and just say that anytime we write this symbol, it means square root, and then if we want it to be something different, we'll change it, right? And it'll be labeled. Like, so that's the same thing. Like, there came to a point where they're taking all these logs, they're working with log, as this math was being discovered or and come up with, like, they're working with these things over and over again. And they're like, can we just stop writing this one and just say if it says this, that's the one we mean? So it's just that agreement, okay? That if it just says log, the base is implied to be 10. That's the common log. So instead of saying x, x to the first means x, and the square root of x means, index is 2. Like, we have these numbers. You guys are used to that idea that we stop writing certain numbers because they just get written over and over again. Well, that's what it is with log. Log means log base 10. And why is 10 the one, right? Well, there is no log base 1. Right? We talked about that yesterday. There is no log base 1. There is no log base 0. Well, then why not log base 2? Log base 2 is pretty cool, right? But why 10? Well, what's important about 10? Right? We work with tens. Tens is how our number system is based around, right? So log base 10 is the common log. So when you see log, that is log base 10. So how do I read this? Okay? And something I want you guys to think about, like, when you have an equation, especially like this, what I think would really help you guys is that you cover up that 2. Okay, so I'm taking that 2 and I'm covering it up. I can't see it. I'm just looking at the left side of the equal sign. I'm saying, what does that mean, right? What does that mean? So I see log, how I read it, log of 100. What does log of 100 mean? It means 10 to the what is 100. So I have to know, Grant, you need to know this, that when it says log, that means log base 10. And so when I read it, I say a log of 100, but when I say, well, what does that mean? That means 10 to the what is 100. And so, oh yeah, 10 squared is 100. That's why it's 2, okay? But I'm covering that up and I'm asking myself a question. 10 to the what is 100? Oh, 10 to the 2 is 100. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay? And the next thing you're going to do is you're going to pick up your calculator. Pick up your calculator. Okay? You guys all have a scientific and or graphing calculator? Okay? Matt? Colby? Kayla? Hey, you need this today, okay? Cole? All right. So where's your log button? All right, over there on the left side. Okay. If you have a TI 83, 84 log button, okay. So we see our log, and it's got the parentheses there. Log of what? All right. So I'm gonna type log of 100. So I'll put your 100 in there, even though it seems silly. I want you practicing this. Okay. Log of 100 equals 2. So practice hitting the buttons so that you're used to hitting them, so you know where to find them quickly when you need to find them quickly, like it on a test. Okay, so you're not struggling, like, where's my log button? Okay? So we can see that it works, right? We're making sense of this. So what does this mean? What does log of 1 mean? Piper, what does log of 1 mean? Claire, do you have a book yet? So head over, just go ahead and head over to the library. See, you go through the gender bathroom, and then there's that glass door just to the left. As soon as you walk in, you'll see those big wooden carts. There's a box with a stack of blue, that thing that Grant has there. Okay. No, not one square. What's the base, Piper? What's the base? Okay, so how do you read that? If that's base 10, log base 10 of 1, how do you read that? What's it mean? Log of 100 meant 10 to the what is 100? What does log of 1 mean? And what power equals 1, right, Rhea? Okay. 10 to the what is 1? What's the answer to that? 10 to the what is 1? Yeah, right, Maddie? 0. Okay, so there's log of 1, 0. Check it out. Hit the buttons. Type it in. Do it. What's log of 1 equal to? Okay. You can see that's going to be 0. All right. Riley, what about this one? Log of 10. What does that mean? It does work. I'm not asking for the answer. I'm asking you to tell me what it means. That is wrong. Can you show your screen? What does it mean, Riley? Log of 1 meant 10 to the what is 1. What does log of 10 mean? Log of 100 meant 10 to the what is 100. What does log of 10 mean?
Log of 10 is 1.
So log of 100.
Can't remember exactly how to say it.
Log of 100 means 10 to the what is 100. Log of 1 means 10 to the what is 1. So log of 10 means I need you guys to be able to say this, to ask the question, to be able to turn a log into what it means. Green one. I would say, Grant. What's it mean?
Log base in to the power of what equals something.
Log of 1 means 10 to the what is 1. Log of 10 means right, Colby. I don't want the answer, guys. I want the question. I need you to hear me. You should not be worrying about the answer. You should be worrying about the question. If you can't ask the question, there's no way you're going to get the answer. Log of 10 means what? Log of 1 means 10 to the what is 1. That's the question. 10 to the what is 1. Then we worry about answering the question. Log of 1 means 10 to the what is 1. So what does log of 10 mean?
10 to the what?
10 to the what?
10 to the 10.
No, 10 to the what? 10 to the what equals what? 10. 10 to the what equals 10. All right, Rhea. And 10 to the what power is 10? Log of 100 means 10 to the what power is 100. Log of 1 means 10 to the what power is 1. Log of 10 means 10 to the what power is 10. You have to be able to ask the question. If you can't ask the question, that means you don't understand what a log is. If you don't understand what a log is, why are we trying to figure out how to solve logarithmic equations? If you have no idea what a log is, there's no way you can solve a logarithmic equation. I need you guys to be able to ask the question. Not answer the question, ask the question. So if you can't ask the question, then there's no way to answer the question. 10 to the first is 10. Yeah, they're on the back of page 97. Or sorry, 96. We're just writing stuff down. So why we're doing this is because this is where we're headed. Log base 5 of x equals 2. How are you going to solve that? Okay. Look at where the x is. It's inside of that log. Remember, log is something you do to a number. It's essentially like an operation. That said the square root of x equals 2. How would you solve it? It said x plus 5 equals 2. How would you solve it? You undo those things. I undo the square root by squaring both sides. I undo the plus 5 by subtracting 5, or whatever number I said. Okay? How do you undo a log? You undo a log by turning it into an exponential. And so I don't worry about the whole thing. I worry about that. What does that mean? What does log base 5 of x mean? So Piper, redemption time. What does log base 5 of x mean? Yep, 5 to what power is x, okay? 5 to the question mark is x. So then we get to answer that, right? But do you see how x is by itself now? Right? We're trying to solve for x. How do we get x by itself if it's inside this thing? We can't just pull it off, right? What's the math that lets us do that? Now we can answer the question. Oh, 5 squared is x. So, or, equals 25, okay? Oh, log base 5 of 25? Does that make sense? Log base 5 of 25? 5 to the what is 25? 5 to the second is 25? Oh, wow, that actually makes sense. We can see that our answer actually makes sense. Okay? If you can't ask the question, guys, there's no way to answer it. I'm going to keep on you about this. This isn't going away. You have to be able to answer the question. Sorry, you have to be able to ask the question. Okay? That's the common logarithm. If there's nothing there, it's base 10. Sorry. Okay? So that is something you need to know. Should be something you're trying to figure out. Shouldn't be something you're trying to look up. If it says log, that means log base 10. You need to know that. Okay? And then I talked to you guys on Tuesday in the video about where E came from, kind of. Okay? The actual derivation of E is pretty interesting. And E is a number. That's the main thing you need to understand, that E is a number. It's not a variable. Okay? It's just like pi. It's a special number it's an infinitely long number that we don't want to write down, so we gave it a letter name instead. It's the same thing as pi in that regards. Okay? So e is a specific number. It comes up in nature just like pi does. Okay? But it deals more with exponential growth. That's why they use the letter e, because it deals with exponential growth. Okay? So when we say the natural log, what we're really saying is that this is log base e of e. So when we say natural, that's how we say that, the natural log of e, or ln of e. Okay? The natural log of e, or the ln of e, what we really mean is log base e of e. Okay? So then what does that mean? That e to the what power equals e. It doesn't matter what e is. In order to get the same thing on both sides, it would have to be to the first power. Okay? So that's why the natural log of e is 1. Okay? You guys are all going to go to your calculators. Where's your natural log button? Okay, where's your natural log button? That's right there under your log button. Should have ln. Okay? Where's your e button? You actually have a couple e buttons on here. Okay, there's 3 specific e buttons, and 2 of them are the ones you want. The other one's something you do not want. Okay, the one you don't want is the second of the comma. Notice how it's the capital E's. That's not what we want. Okay, we want the lowercase e. There's one over here on your division sign. Okay? And there's also one here on the second of the log button. The second natural log button is e to the x. Okay? So right now the easiest one for us to use would be the second division one. Okay? So I have natural log, second division, should have log base, natural log of e. All right, it should look just like that. You hit enter, and of course you get 1. Okay, so it should look just like that. The button. Okay, natural log of e is 1. All right. So what is e, real quick, right? So e is like 2.72. So if you want to see that, just hit second enter, or second division, sorry. Just hit enter from there, right? So it'll tell you what e is equal to a certain point. That is a non-ending, non-repeating number. I know it kind of looks like there's a pattern there, but it stops. Okay, it does not keep going. It's a non-ending, non-repeating number. It's irrational. Okay, that's why we have to give it a letter name. So what does this mean? What does that mean? Rhea, I'm going to ask you to be quiet. You're answering too many questions. E to the what power equals 1. Think about it. Okay. E to the what power equals 1. Well, e to the what power equals 1. Let's answer. Right, Maddie? Okay. E to the 0 is 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Careful, Ruth. Right? Anything to the first power is itself. Okay. So is that true? Right? What's the natural log of 1? Hit the buttons. Practice. What's the natural log of 1? Okay. Better be 0. Okay. Do you have a calculator with you there? What type of phone do you have? What type of phone do you have? Do you have a good app on there for math? You're definitely gonna want something, or just make sure you have your calculator normally. Okay. Okay. What's this one mean? Natural log of e squared. What's that mean? Tiger, what's that mean? Wesley, what's that mean? Grant. Nope. You start off right.
So e to the what power equals 2?
Okay. Tag team in here. E to the what power equals e squared. Right? E to the what power equals 1. Right? E to the what power equals 1. E to the what power equals e squared. Well, e to the what power equals e squared. E to the e squared power?
E to the second power.
E to the second power, right? It's kind of a weird looking thing though, right? That's like, it looks really weird, right? E to the e squared, e to the what power equals e squared. Well, e squared equals e squared, right? So that the what needs to be 2. And how do we check that, right? How do we type the natural log of e squared in our calculator? Again, get up, right? Natural log. So this is what that, there's a couple different ways you guys can type this, but you have that e to the x button, that's the second of your natural log button. So you hit that. So hit natural log and then second natural log. You guys should be here. Okay, it's like, well, it's e to the what? What do you want to put there? Right? We want to put e squared there. Right? So we want a 2. Well, notice how there's 2 open parentheses. So we're going to close both of those. So close both sets of parentheses. Okay, and then you hit enter. 2. Okay. Another way you could type that, so I'm going to hit natural log. I'm going to use the other E button, the one that's on the second division. So I'm going to hit second divide now. Now I need that to be squared. Well, how do I square on here? I could hit caret 2, or we do have a square button. Right? I can just hit the square button. Now it would give me that. Okay, that works pretty well for the squares, because there's a square button on your calculator. There's no other like specific button for any other powers, so it doesn't really work very well for other powers. So that's why you'd want the e to the x. Okay, if I wanted to figure out what the natural log of e to the 7th was, well, I shouldn't have to use my calculator to do that. I should be able to figure that out in my head, but you can see that. Okay, the natural log of e squared is 2, because e to the second power is equal to e to the second power, which means that something like this should be really easy to figure out. What's the natural log of e to the 7th? What does it mean? E to the what power equals e to the 7th? Well, that should be really easy to figure out. E to the 7th power. All right, they're tag teaming in here again. E to the 7th power is equal to e to the 7th. The natural log of e to the 7th is 7. Okay? But if you don't understand the question, guys, how the heck are you going to answer it? You have to see this as a question. What is a log? It's asking you something. Okay? What to the what power is what? That's what needs to keep coming out. Okay? Because where are we going with this? Oh my lord, why did this yet? Technology. Okay, where are we headed? Okay, we're headed to being able to solve equations like this. The natural log of x equals 0.5. How do we solve that? How do we get rid of that natural log? How do we pull the x out of there to get it isolated? We have to read this as a question. I cover up that 0.5. I don't care about it. I want to read that left side as a question. E to the what is x? Now that I know the question, then I say, oh, e to the 0.5 is x. And if, depending on what they want from me, if they want the exact answer, there it is. There's the exact answer to that question. E to the 0.5 is x. So I'd say the natural log of e to the 0.5 equals 0.5, which shouldn't be surprising from what we just talked about. Okay, all right. Natural log of e to the 7th was 7. Natural log of e to the 0.5 should be 0.5. Okay, if that's what they want is the exact answer, there's the exact answer. If they want an approximate answer, like rounded to the nearest hundredth, then you get your calculator and say, hey, what is e to the 1/2 power? And so you type that in. Okay. Yeah, 1.68 something. Okay, so there's some long decimal, right? Because e is itself a long decimal, so then square rooting e gives us another long decimal. Okay, so what are they asking for, right? That's a question for later. It's not what we're doing right now. But do they want the exact answer, which is e to the 0.5? They want an approximate answer, 1.68, blah 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 blah. Okay, but you got to make sure you're asking yourself the question. How do you read this as a question, guys? Okay, so important. Why everything is not grouping. Okay, so again, you guys need to know this. When it says log, what is that talking about? Log base 10. It says natural log. What is that talking about? It's log base E. Okay? You've got to read that correctly. Okay? That needs to be something you know, not something you're going to try to figure out. It needs to be something you know in the moment. Okay? Last little thing here, I want to talk about just some patterns. See if we can help you guys do some of this a little bit faster. This is stuff you guys could figure out, okay? It's not something you need to know, but if you do know it, it'll make things easier for you, okay? So, looking at some patterns here. So Kayla, what does log base 2 of 1 mean? Kayla, what's log base 2 of 1 mean? Okay, Cole, what does log base 2 of 1 mean?
2 to the exponent of 1.
Nope. Log of 100 meant 10 to the what is 100. Log of 1 meant 10 to the what is 1. What does log base 2 of 1 mean, Cole? Good, Caleb. What's that mean, Cole?
Is it 2 to the... I don't know.
This is a question. You should be asking a question. 2 to the what power is 1? That is the question you're supposed to be asking right now. Okay? I ask you what it means. I'm asking you to tell me the question it's asking. Log base 2 of 1 means 2 to the what is 1. Okay? Say it.
2 to the what equals 1?
There you go. Okay. Then what's the answer to that question, Cole? Now that you've asked it, answer it. 2 to the what is 1?
1.
2 to the first power is 1?
Yes.
No. 2 to the
No.
first power is 2. Anything to the first power is itself. How do we get 1? Anything to what power is 1? What exponent do we raise to get 1? I'm adding 0. Okay. Enter 0. 2 to the 0 power is 1. Victoria, what's this one mean? Log base 12 of 1. What's that mean? What's that asking? Tiger, what's that asking? Log base 12 of 1. What's that mean?
What power of 12 to what equals 1?
So close.
Oh,
Sorry.
What, did I get something backwards?
You said power of 12 to the what equals 1.
Oh, yeah, 12 to the power of what equals
There you go.
1? Yeah.
The power of what equals 1. 12 to the power of what equals 1, Tiger?
One second. Oh, 0.
Yeah. Thanks, sir. Ruth, log base 1000 of 1. What's that mean?
$1,000 to what power equals 1?
1,000 to what power equals 1? 1,000 to what power equals 1, Ruth?
0.
0. You guys see a pattern? There's something we can take advantage of here to do faster. What's the pattern? Yeah, Claire's saying log of 1 is always 0. Right? If the argument is 1, the answer is 0 for everything. Okay? Interesting spelling of 0, Maddie. Right? So be careful if it equals 0, the way you said that, Maddie. Right? It's kind of a weird way to say that. Right? So what I want to say is if the argument is 1, the answer is 0. If the thing we're taking the log of is 1, the answer is 0, no matter what base the log is. Okay? So if we're taking the log of 1, the answer will always be 0. Okay? Matt, what's this mean? Log base 7 of 7. What's that mean?
Uh, 7 to what power equals 7?
7 to what power equals 7? Perfect. So 7 to what power equals 7? What's the answer?
0.
Try again.
1.
There you go. Yep. So log base 7 of 7 is 1. So 7 to the what power is 7. So 7 to the first power is 7. Wesley, what about this one? What's that mean? What's that asking? Twelve, what power is 12? Perfect. So what's the answer there, Wesley? 1. So log base 12 of 12 is 1. Rhea, what about this one? Log base 1/4 of 1/4. What's that mean? What's that asking? 1/4 of what power is 1/4? What's the answer to that question, Rhea? 1. Okay. So what's the pattern? What do you see? Anytime we take a log of 1, we get 0. What's the pattern here?
On base, still, I don't know how to phrase it. Same number will equal 1.
Okay. So if the base of the log and the argument of the log are the same, then the answer is always 1. Right? So if the base and the argument are the same, the answer is always 1. Log base 3,000 of 3,000 is 1. Log base 2.7 of 2.7 is 1. Okay? Remember, we cannot take logs of negatives. Saw that yesterday. Not okay. We cannot take logs base 1. So there's no such thing as log base 1 of 1. That doesn't exist. There's no such thing as log base 0. That does not exist. So log base 0 of 0 is not 1 because that log doesn't exist. Log base -4 of -4 does not exist. So it would not equal 1. Okay? Those logs don't exist. That math doesn't exist. It's not that it's tricky. It does not exist. It does not work. Okay? The logs are for the things that are tricky. Log base 7 of 14, how do we figure out what that is? Right? What is the power I would raise 7 to get 14? That's what logs are for, things that are tricky. We're looking at the ones that we've been able to figure out. Right? We've been able to figure out all these so far. But that's where we're headed, is how do we do the ones that we can't figure out just by looking? Okay? But these are the patterns. Again, you guys don't need to memorize these, but it's helpful if you do because it's faster. If I just know, oh, hey, there's a 7, that's 1. Oh, there's a 1 in there, that's 0. Okay, if you memorize that is faster, you can figure those out. The memorization makes faster. You do need to know this. You have to know this. Log means log base 10. Natural log means log base E. You have to know that. Okay? You guys have to be good at this transformation stuff. How do I go from a log to an exponential? How do I go from an exponent to a log? It's got to be fast. It's got to be efficient. Okay? This is the key to solving these problems. You guys got to ask yourself the question. Okay? And so as I was talking to some kids in my 4th hour about this, when you're doing this, what I'd really suggest you guys do is when you're trying to translate log base 2 of 8 equals 3 into an exponential, if I give you that problem, I say, hey, write that as an exponential. I would really have you guys cover up that right side. Don't look at it. And just focus on the question, right, that we've been doing. Log base 2 of 8. How do I ask myself that as a question? 2 to the what is 8? 2 to the third is 8. Okay? I cover up that 6 or whatever it was. I focus on the question. Log base 2 of 64. 2 to the what is 64? 2 to the 6th is 64. You need to be able to ask yourself the question. Okay? When I look at that log of 0.001, 0.001, whatever, I focus on that. Oh, hey, that's a 10. 10 to the what is that? 10 to the negative 4 is that. Okay? How do you translate that fast? Okay? Other questions you guys want to talk about from your homework?